There we go.
that's a thing now. All right.
Mm.
Oh, how are you doing this morning? Because I think it's like 12:47 for you.
It is. It is. I am doing pretty well.
I literally just woke up.
Oh, jeez.
I I wanted to sleep in, and god damn it, did I sleep in?
I tried to sleep in, but I couldn't. So I've been awake since like 6:30, 6 o'clock ish.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Ugh. How was your week?
Pretty good week. Got an exciting job offer. I'll be talking about that Thursday and seeing whether or not that job's what I want to pursue. But if all goes well, I'll be making more money.
Always nice.
Yeah, yeah, always positive.
See, people have been working on a bathroom in my house, so I have been woken up early every day by my dog.
Nice.
Yeah, he decided that even though there's other people in the house that are awake that can handle this, he will run right up to my fucking door and start barking.
He's like, "Hey man, just noticed that some stuff is happening and I thought you'd be interested."
Yeah, yeah.
Uh I got a Roomba recently.
You got a Roomba.
Yeah. um and it has a schedule that it cleans to, and at 9 o'clock every morning it undocks itself and then vacuums the entire apartment.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Has it tried to kill you yet?
No, I did attach a claymore to it, and I do want to call it the Boomba, but I don't have googly eyes yet, so that's in the works. We named it Jeff. So Jefferson, but it's
You said we named it Jeff. Who all was on the council to name it?
my girlfriend and I.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of funny in the app because it you could just leave it like the default name is Roomba, but it gives you the option to change it. So we named it Jeff, and it has a birthday. So its official birthday is 12/3/2020.
Why Jeff?
I'm not really sure. It's just the first thing that came to mind. We named the TV George, for example.
You, you named the TV George.
Yeah, it's anytime you get a smart product, you get the opportunity to name it whatever you want. So the TV's name is George, and I can say the magic phrase and to Google and tell it to turn George on, change George's volume, skip this, what have you. You can do it all by voice commands. Um, and there's other things that I have. Like I have a video doorbell, which is simply just called video doorbell.
Oh,
I
I
didn't want
thought
to
it was
name it
gonna be
anything.
named Daniel Jr.
Right. Our living room light is just the living room light.
So you live in a smart apartment, is what you're telling me.
It's part of my job nowadays. Um, because I do smart home services, so having all of these products in my home gives me a better opportunity to sell said products because I can kind of demo them to people better.
I can't wait for the robots to rise and your house just kills you by not letting you out.
I do have a smart door lock, but I can't install it here at my apartment.
The fuck?
They're pretty cool. Uh, Installing them and stuff. They're built tough, so you can't kick the door in if it is installed. It tells you if it's been tampered with or detects tampering. Um, it's done by a 4-digit code. It doesn't have to be. It has to be at least 4 digits, but it can be up to I think it's 26. Could you imagine typing in 26 characters to get into your front door? Um, yeah, so I do a lot a lot of smart home security, as well as just general smart home products.
I'm just seeing the rise of Skynet and all the humans dying from this.
Yeah, we just need Elon Musk to put that Skynet up.
And from what I
Space
know, he's working on it.
SpaceNet. Yeah, SpaceNet.
Yeah.
It's pretty close to Skynet, so
Do you think he knows what he's doing? Do you think it was named that on purpose?
I think he named it and then it was an afterthought. He was like, huh, that's pretty close to Skynet.
Just a little too close.
Yeah. I feel like Elon Musk would know that he named it Skynet.
I don't know. Did you see that fucking name he gave to his child?
Yeah. I mean, he claims that that's a placeholder of some kind. I guess they're gonna change its name later. And also his wife came up with most of that.
Oh, I'm sure. Blame it on the wife.
I think it's kind of interesting that he named it after his favorite jet. Named his kid after an old military jet, stealth jet. I want to say it's the precursor to the black. What is that called?
I know what you're talking about, and you talking about it made me lose it.
Yeah, I don't know what. Forgetting what it is. Anyhow, he named it after a jet, which I thought was kind of funny.
Now, it's an orbital.
It's a stealth jet, yeah.
Fuck, I forget what it's called now, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's called.
Oh, the SR-71 Blackbird.
There you go, the Blackbird. I was trying to think of that. Is a Blackbird.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say Black Hawk, and I was like, that's not right.
Those that's what I typed in first, and I'm like,
yeah.
That's not right. That's a helicopter.
Yeah. Yeah, Blackbird. It's a pretty wicked looking jet, but it literally flies pretty much in space and takes pictures of the ground or whatever.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, because its only purpose is for surveillance, really, and to not be detected by radar or other means. And if something's that high up in the air, you probably won't be able to see it with your eye.
Now imagine if it was not only that, but built around the A-10 Warthog's gone.
Oh God.
The most deadly plane in existence.
Jesus. Warthogs are crazy, man. Their rate of fire is like 800 rounds a second.
Fuck, can you believe Congress wanted to get rid of that shit? Fuck.
If you fire it for too long, it can literally stall it.
I don't care. We need more of them.
The A-10 surprisingly doesn't carry a lot of ammo with it, which makes sense. The fucking bullets are about the size of your arm.
Well, considering that you call in one strike with that thing, and that area is pretty much gone.
Yeah. They say it's an anti-personnel weapon, but it's really an anti-everything weapon because it takes buildings out just fine.
Well, I mean, the personnel are in the building, so...
Yeah. There's a good old veteran that trains people. He trains law enforcement and stuff like that. And he fought Nam or whatnot, but he's a very good tactical trainer. And he said that there's no tactical way to clear a stairwell, which is true. because you're probably gonna get shot. So he said the only way to do it is to go outside, get on the radio, call an A10 in, and get rid of the stairwell, and then the stairwell's clear.
I, I agree with that.
He says it way better than I do, but it's pretty funny. It's like, yeah, you're not wrong.
So, do you have any like guilty pleasures or anything to watch on YouTube?
Yeah, I like. What do you? I don't know necessarily consider it like a guilty pleasure, I suppose. But I really enjoy watching the VFX artists react by Corridor Digital.
I mostly just watch podcasts or music or certain videos. I really like watching trash TV, I've learned, and I'm a big fan of Jerry Springer and Steve Wilkos.
Yeah.
God, that I was like one of the other things that I do is I got it from a podcast and it's watching fights and then people get hit by cars.
Oh, jeez.
You wouldn't believe how much.
Every now and then I'll watch car accidents because I think that's kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
Or because I live in Oregon, we get a lot of snow and a lot of ice, so I like to watch the videos of people who don't know how to drive in that weather.
Which is a lot more people than you would think.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys realize you live here where it snows a lot, right?
Oh yeah. So
nobody's prepared.
One of the other things I want to talk about is monoliths.
Yes.
Holy fuck.
You had started to talk about a monolith last podcast, towards the end of the podcast, right? And it was in Utah.
Yeah, it was the Utah one.
What has happened since then? And mind you, it's only been a week's time.
Okay, so first off, that monolith is supposedly no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if, like people were hired to take it down. I don't know if it was taken down by whoever put it there. Or if it was just lost to time. But since then, a monolith has appeared in Romania.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like, oh, it's just a monolith. It's like, no, it's the same exact shape and dimensions and whatnot. It's the same monolith almost.
It was very methodically carried out.
Yeah, and this is where I'm starting to believe that this isn't just some weird art project. Because first it was in Utah, then it was in Romania, which I will remind you is very, very fucking far away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then since the Romania one popped up in California.
Yeah, so it's either moving, which is not super logical because those are very far distances, right? It's more plausible that they could have taken it from Utah to California, but the Romanian one is like very baffling.
That's the one that kind of, fucks me over there. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why Utah, then to Romania, and then to California?
It makes it seem like there's a group of people that are doing this, right? Because it's the only way you could do it.
Yeah, that is one of the major theories, that it is a group project. Yeah. And that's all it is.
Because, like, you can't really magically make stuff appear. So there has to be a group that's doing this, or somebody is a copycat, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be an organization. Like, they don't have to know each other.
But it's aliens.
Yeah, or it's aliens.
Aliens.
With their aircraft that really does defy physics. At least our physics.
Or it could be a thing for summoning necromorphs.
No. Yep. Hopefully, it's the zombie apocalypse. That's what I wanted this pandemic to
I think
become.
it's the signaling of the end times.
Um, Speaking of the signaling of the end times, have you heard that scientists have now declared um, primates to be in the Stone Age? We didn't.
No, I didn't know about that.
So there are a lot of apparently there are a lot of primates that are using tools like spears and starting to make items and craft things. And people are saying that it's we're getting close to having to start a war with the monkeys.
So what you're saying is Planet of the Apes is a real thing.
That's what they're saying, and it kind of ties into the whole monolith thing because
Because
the
of that
Space
scene, and
Odyssey,
yeah,
yeah.
the
um,
first thing was in 2001, A Space Odyssey, which is a movie directed by the same guy who did The Shining.
yep.
I recommend everyone watches
It's
2001, A Space Odyssey. It's a great movie.
it's a great movie, and a lot of the technology in that movie was pretty freaking accurate too.
Yeah, and
Um,
one of the main scenes with the monolith is that a bunch of apes wake up
mhm.
and they see the monolith and they start freaking out, and then we see it's supposed to be the sign of evolution, and then
Yeah.
the apes start using tools,
Mhm.
and then it just goes on throughout the ages, and eventually we get through the whole movie.
Yeah, and so going back to the Planet of the Apes, and I'm just going to be talking about the newest movies, the newest three movies that are part of that
Understandable, those are
franchise.
really good.
Yeah, the original concept was cool or what have you, but just off the original ones, we'll talk a little bit about the plot and how it's kind of scary how this is all fitting together, or at least concerning that it works well. So, in the movie, these apes are modified, right? They like get some type of gas in their system
All right,
or some
wait.
type of drug.
I can actually explain that one. What it
Yeah, yeah.
is people are working on a cure for Alzheimer's and
Yes,
stuff
there
like
you go.
that, and they think that they created this gas, which I guess is more like a neurotoxin, if anything, and supposedly it heals the brain and also makes the recipient a bit smarter. And of course, as they do, apes are the closest things that we have to humans. And
Yep.
so they tested it out on a female ape, and they weren't having a lot of progress with it. But it did note that she did get smarter. But then she had a child, and this child inherited, what that gas was supposed to do. It entered the mother system, and then the child inherited, I guess, the perfect version of that.
Yeah.
And he was
And
incredibly smart, and eventually he talked through sign language, and eventually he could actually speak.
right, right. So we have intelligent monkeys that are starting to evolve, right? In the last movie, the reason why the monkeys were able to get as predominant as they were and pretty much take over a lot of the planet is because there was a virus that was going around, which at the time of this movie it was H1N1 is the virus that was in the movie that kind of killed a lot of humanity. Um, well, we're kind of in the middle of a pandemic. We have monkeys that are in the Stone Age, and monoliths are appearing.
Yeah, I had another theory about this. Do you know what the Great Filter is?
No.
The Great Filter is supposedly when a civilization has essentially reached its peak and it ends. It can't go any further for some reason because humans are stupid to a very large degree. And
Yep.
we just die out.
It's time for the reboot.
Yeah, for instance, the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
It it was considered at the time the most advanced civilization in all the world. But it died. It just ended, and it's because they reached their great filter.
Yep, they reached the peak that they could possibly go to. Their civilization as a whole, that was the most advanced it could get, and it died off after that.
And if you notice, this is a reoccurring theme throughout all of history.
Mm-hmm.
A civilization reaches its peak, and it dies, and then eventually another civilization takes its place, going even further, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so we're probably in the end times here.
Yeah, which is another theory of mine. Because are you a religious person at all?
Yeah, to some degree, yes.
Is your family religious?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not really a religious person.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do know that Christianity is not just one religion,
Right.
as much as they will tell you it is and how it's the true religion, when really it's the bastard child of three religions into one.
Pretty much, yeah. You have
It's a mixture
Catholicism.
of
You have
Judaism,
Catholicism. You have Judaism, and
paganism.
I was gonna say Islam.
Now,
Because those three religions are all pretty much the same religion that came off of each other.
hang on. Well, hang on. I wanna get this right before I say it. All right, so the first religion that Christianity is a mixture of is Judaism, which is the Jewish religion. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
The next religion that it's based off of is paganism. Because Christmas and Easter are not the Christian holidays. It has been proven that if Jesus was indeed a real person, then he was most likely born in what we would consider to be about July.
Right.
This has been scientifically proven at that.
Mm-hmm. It has, yeah.
Christmas is actually the celebration of the winter solstice and Yule. So, and then Easter is essentially a sex holiday.
Yeah. Got to be fruitful.
Right? And then we have what I believe is Zoroastrianism. This is considered one of the world's oldest religions.
I don't even know what that is.
It is a multifaceted faith centered on a dualistic cosmology of good and evil.
Makes sense.
It is one of the oldest religions, and you will see a lot of what it is in just about every religion in the world.
Well, makes sense.
If paganism and Judaism are the parents, then this is the grandparent.
Religion in a whole is just really a construct to give people morals and ethics.
Yeah, I agree with that. Not only that, though.
Essentially.
Do you know? Have you ever gone into like what exactly is the virgin birth and why it's called that and whatnot?
I haven't, no.
All right, well, you're gonna love this. In Judaism, if you are married and you leave that partner and eventually get remarried, you are considered a virgin in the new marriage.
That's kind of weird.
So Mary could have gotten pregnant in her first relationship and not know it, and then when she got with Joseph, could have just been pregnant. And because they never they never had sex yet, she was still considered a virgin by their faith.
Right, because they were practicing Judaism.
Yes. So, and I thought that was interesting when I first learned that, by the way. And Christianity has taken that way out of context.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, and this goes into my thing about how about evolution and how the great filter and whatnot. By the way, I was getting there. I just wanted to clear some things up first. So, every religion has an Adam and Eve. They
pretty
have,
much, yeah, has an origin.
yeah, and every religion also has an apocalypse of sorts.
Yep.
You know, the Norse religion has Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, yeah.
Christianity has the Rapture or Revelations.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to look up something, and I learned the Seven Seals. Okay, you know about those.
Yeah, yeah. As far as like what Christianity believes.
Yeah, did you know that we've technically broken through about almost the first 4 seals, maybe like the first 6?
Probably.
Yeah, we are actually close on our version of the end times because, again, all of this has already happened once before. It's like the Matrix. You know, there's always a glitch in the Matrix. Someone like Neo or the One comes about.
Right.
So, and I want to talk about this because I want you to try to apply this to what has been going on this year. Alright, so the first one in Revelation 6:1-2. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
The white horse of the apocalypse, yeah.
Yeah. And so the preterist view of this is that technically they identified the first horseman as Artabanus, king of the Parthians, who slaughtered the Jews in Babylon. However, other people have interpreted the first horseman to be the symbolic of the Roman Empire with Nero as the Antichrist. This rider who went forth conquering was Rome's march towards Jerusalem. Now that's happened throughout history, as you noticed.
Yeah.
Technically, you could say that Hitler was the horseman.
You could, yeah.
So
he was a leader, so he had a crown, right?
Yeah.
And he literally slaughtered the Jews.
Yeah, the Great Jewish Revolt.
Jewish people, yeah.
Now here we go. This is the futurist view. And this rider represents the Antichrist who will head the revived Roman Empire at the end of history. Now, do you think that means Roman Empire in a literal sense, like it'll start in Rome? Or, because technically we're the revived Roman Empire.
Yeah, you could argue that technically America would be the revived Roman Empire.
Yeah, we're the modern Rome.
Yep.
Then we have the idealist view. This rider is a symbol of the progress of the gospel of the conquering Christ mentioned in Revelations. Now, a lot of this sounds like stuff that has happened in the past and stuff that's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit freaky, isn't it?
It is. It is definitely something to think about, something to consider. And yeah, things aren't going too well right now.
All right, here we have the second seal. The preterist view, and this was interpreted in the 19th century, the second horseman to be symbolic of the great Jewish revolt and the insurrection of Vindix. During the Great Revolt, civil war broke out amongst the Jews. The civil war not only dissipated their stand against Rome, but also divided the Jewish people into factions that eventually disunified Jerusalem. Boy, that sounds a bit familiar.
In what regards?
Well, first off, America had its own civil war, as you know.
Yeah, yeah.
The world technically had a civil war with World War One and Two.
Technically, yeah.
Not only that, but technically we are in a more passive version of a civil war right now.
It's true.
We
With our
are,
politics and such.
yeah, we are disunified with politics and religion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit of a thing. The historic view of this is the second seal is associated with the Roman period fraught with civil war between 32 would-be emperors that came and went during that time. So that right there, 32 would-be emperors. Technically, we've had many would-be presidents.
True.
We've had many would-be world leaders as well. Now, the futurist view, which is the one that talks about what could potentially happen with us. The Antichrist will unleash World War III and crush any who claim to be Christians. He allies with the Arab world in an effort to conquer the entire world. Only Jerusalem will stand in his way to world supremacy. Now, that sounds a bit like, holy shit, we came really close to that.
Well, we couldn't have come close to that with Donald, though.
But still, that like possibility is like really close to happening.
We did almost go into World War III, but that perspective is coming from the perspective that Muslims are going to be the cause or be the ones to start that, and they're going to go attack every Christian. So it couldn't have been our president.
It's the revived Roman Empire who will crush any who claim to be Christian, and he will ally himself with the Arab world.
Right.
So,
again, still couldn't have been Donald, though.
But still, that, like, when you look at stuff, like, holy shit, that's a little scary how true this is so far.
Mm-hmm.
The idealist view is sealed judgments 2 through 4 represent the disintegration or disintegration integration of both human civilization and creation, resulting from their rejection of the Lamb of God. Then we go to the third seal. This was viewed as corresponding to the famine that occurred during the reign of Claudius, the Roman emperor, from years 41 to 54. And then there was one. The historic view is this was a period of financial oppression imposed on Roman citizenry, created by heavy taxation from the emperors. Taxes could be paid in grain, oil, and wine. That's a real thing that could be happening sooner than we think.
Yeah, and there are a lot of places where famine is happening currently.
Well, not only that, but like with the people panic buying.
Yeah, the whole COVID thing has made supplies run very thin.
Yeah, the futurist view is inflation and famine will plague the earth during World War III. Though many will starve, the wealthy will enjoy the luxuries of oil and wine.
Of course.
That's a thing that's happening currently.
Yeah.
Like, the idealist view is the writer bespeaks the economic hardships and poverty that follow the unleashing of wars on humankind, while the rich get richer.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing that's literally happening.
That always happens during any type of war.
And
The rich
every
always
time
get
it
richer from it.
happens, though, we're technically ending a civilization at that point, and a new one's taking place.
To some degree, yeah.
The fourth seal. This writer speaks the widespread death of Jews in their fight against Rome, which happens to be over 1 million Jewish deaths. That sounds like World War II.
Yep.
That's happened several times in history. This writer signifies 20 years of fighting famine and disease that plagued the reigns of emperors Decius, Gallus, Amilianus, and Valerian, and Gallienus. The future's view spells death for 1/4 of the Earth's inhabitants. The war started by the Antichrist will reach the finale with the 7 bowls of judgment. That, by the way, is the 7 plagues.
Right.
And technically, we did have a few of the plagues happen.
We did. There was a locust storm that happened.
Yeah, and then the idealist view is the fourth rider symbolizes death that results from war and famine when men turn against men.
Mm-hmm.
Again, something that's happened and happening again. Like that's a little weird.
It is.
So, if we were to go through this, we are technically nearing the end times, but the end times has happened many times throughout history.
Yeah.
It's always the ending of a civilization followed up by the rise of a new one, and then the cycle repeats itself.
Yeah. The end times are supposed to stop everything though. So there's not something that comes after the end times.
That we know of.
Yeah.
Everyone who writes about the end times only knows about the end times because they die. I mean, they don't live to go forward. And that's also like saying the end times is the end of everything is technically, a bit more literal than I think you're supposed to take it. Because, I mean, the fall of the Roman Empire, I mean, everyone probably thought that was the end of everything.
Yeah, and I mean everyone in that civilization would probably think that, but there had to have been people that survived that lived in the Roman Empire that broke away from it as it was falling.
There are, but how
Yeah.
how were they supposed to know that this is technically not the end of everything? I mean, their whole civilization came crashing down, their politics, their economy, everything that they once knew is now gone.
But they weren't gone, so they had to just adapt and change how their life continued from that point on.
Yeah, but the main point is this is a repeating thing throughout history.
Yeah.
And that technically the 7 seals are just happening over and over again. It's a never ending cycle. And are we still here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I mean it's always going to be a never-ending cycle, right? just like we were saying before all this, civilization reaches its peak and can't go past that. So something else has to take over from that point on.
Yeah, and that's the main point I'm trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
I we've probably talked enough about religion and theories at this point, though.
Maybe so.
Uh, see, moving on, we have the trans agenda.
Now, what do you feel is the agenda there?
Now, the main thing is this whole started recently. Why it's been in my head is because the actor or actress previously known as Ellen Page has come out as trans and is now Elliot Page.
Yeah.
You saw that, right?
I did, yeah. We my girlfriend and I found out about that and then watched Juno again.
Now, why the fuck should we care?
Because it's a famous person, a person of status, influencer, if you will.
And if it wasn't, would we really give a shit?
Nobody would notice.
Exactly. Why is this
Nope.
big news? Why should this be big news?
Nobody outside of uh um the immediate area would notice if it was just a regular person.
Yeah.
Um I've had conversations about why do we care about stuff like that? Like even in our politics we say, oh, that's the first black president, or that's the first female African, twice divorced, three times removed president. Why do we care about that? They're a human being, okay? And what we should look to and what we should care about is whether or not they can do what the job is asking of them, which is to lead the country. Or anything, right? You talk about actors and actresses. Okay, cool. Who cares? But are they good at what they do? Is that are they good at their job? Do they get fulfillment out of it?
Yeah, like if they weren't in movies and TV shows, would anyone really give a shit about them?
No, nobody would.
Exactly. And like, and people are gonna tell us that we're hating on gays and trans people and whatnot, and that we're I don't know the word for it.
Transphobic,
Yeah, transphobic and homophobic. It's like
homophobic. Yeah,
I had a half sister. She is now my half brother. You don't
right.
see me going around and posting shit about this.
Yeah, it's just if it none of these things affect me personally. That's what I don't care what you do in your personal life or who you perceive yourself to be. You know,
Yeah, and that's the thing. It doesn't
you do
affect
you.
us.
Yeah, you do you, man. I don't care. If
In
it starts to affect me is where I do care.
yeah, in no way does Elliot Page affect me on a personal level. I could have gone my entire life without knowing about this, and and nothing would have changed.
Um, where it starts to affect me with a trans community and stuff like that happening and occurring around me, start to have unisex bathrooms and stuff.
Which I think is stupid.
Well, it's all fine and dandy, but if you go into a unisex bathroom, you better be prepared to see unisex things.
It's not the fact there are unisex bathrooms, it's the fact of what they could be used for.
Which would be
Some really sick people, perverts, things like that, who are going in there in unisex pretending to be it, but really just wanting to be in there for some less than moral reason.
if that's uncomfortable to you, then don't go in there.
Exactly. I go
um,
into the men's restroom because I still have a dick.
yeah, but there are still gay guys that go in the men's restroom.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's the whole unisex thing is if that's what you if you want to subject yourself to going into a unisex bathroom, by all means, that's on you and you as an individual. If you want to go in there for nasty shit, you're a piece of shit to society.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't like the fact that there are some gay people who want to use the women's restroom simply because they're gay. I don't like that. I
right?
think
Yeah, no,
that's
I don't agree with that. That's why there are unisex restrooms, though.
yeah, you can claim to be gay all you want, but what if you're not gay and you're saying you are and you just want to go into the women's bathroom?
Right? Suddenly, it's a double standard, right? Because you're gay, it's okay that you could go in there. That's not how that works. You're
So
gay, that's your sexuality, but if you're male and you're attracted to males, you have male parts, you should go to the male restroom
yeah,
unless there is a unisex restroom, and then by all means go in that one, who cares. But going into a female restroom, that's a female restroom. That's
I
completely
mean,
different from your
I don't,
anatomy.
and this isn't just like me saying, oh, gay. This isn't me hating on male gays. This is the same with females, lesbians.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want the lesbians going into the men's restroom.
No. I went into the men's restroom to go to the men's restroom.
You know, I think even and you're attracted to females. Okay, so you're still technically a female. So I think you should have a go to the female restroom.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, there are some sick people out there, and I'm not saying this applies only to guys. There are females out there who are really sick in the head. However, I wouldn't I wouldn't say risk it by going into the men's bathroom as a lesbian.
Yeah.
And I feel like imagine if there were like just multiple restrooms, how easy it would be. There's a men's restroom, there's a female restroom, there's a men's gay restroom, and there's a women's lesbian restroom.
Right.
And in trans restroom. It'd be a lot more work to put in, but in the end of the day, at least people would be satisfied and we wouldn't have any complaints for the most
Yeah.
part.
Wouldn't yeah, we wouldn't have too many issues in that same regard. That could all be solved with just, I mean, at the very most, you could just have three restrooms: a unisex, a male, and a female one.
Eh,
If go into the unisex one if that's your thing, but don't go into one you're not supposed to go into, which the other two are restricted. Male and female restrooms are for that. Unisex are for anything else.
now, and it's like, I don't have a problem with trans people. I have a problem with everyone pointing it out all the time. Like, oh, look at me, I'm trans. You should respect me and all this. And
Yeah,
putting
because
trans and everything. And I'm like, just say it once. Like, put it in like an info box, and that's good.
it starts to become a trend, right? More than just like a who you are kind of thing, right? Like coming out or whatever is a big moment, sure, but um, it you don't need to like put that everywhere.
Yeah.
Correct people as it happens. If someone calls you, if someone knew you beforehand and you were female to them and now you're male, just simply correct them when it happens.
To be fair, that's also something that will have to be gotten used to because if we knew you as female and now you're male,
Mm-hmm.
it's just gonna take time for us to get used to it for the most part.
Yeah, and I mean, at the very least, you should expect however long they've known you for them to get used to that. So, like, if I knew you for 5 years, it might take me 5 years to get used to calling you what you want to be,
Yeah.
or what you should have been, or whatever you want to believe, or whatever you feel. But
Let's talk like say hypothetical single Daniel. Would you be in a relationship with a trans person?
uh, I am a believer that to pick a partner is someone that you are that you love for who they are.
Okay.
That being said, that doesn't mean that I like men, right? I obviously like women, and if there was a guy that transitioned into women and liked men, then that's fine, I suppose.
You like women? You're homophobic. Homophobic.
Right. That's yeah. um, Apparently, right to everyone. Um, but you got to be female for me to like you, right? I'm
Okay.
not saying that I won't like a transgender person, but they have to appear to be and be act, believe, whatever that they are female,
So,
right?
say
And they
like
also
you were hooking up with someone and making out. Would you want to know before like you started making out that this person was transgender, or would you, or what if they just told you like after, like, yo, you've already started making out and feeling each other up, and then it's like, oh, by the way, I used to be a dude.
if they so yeah, the timing has something to do with it because if they said that information during, I would probably lose interest. If they said it after, I probably would be more understanding of the situation and less so to just immediately reject them. And if they brought it up beforehand, it's even better for them, I feel.
Yeah, like because
During is a whole different beast. If it's during, I will probably just end up leaving.
yeah, I had
uh,
the reason I talk about this is because I actually had a conversation with some friends of mine about this, and one of them, I said that I would like to know before things happen
yeah,
if they're transgender. And it's
that
like,
that would
really,
be the preferred.
you wouldn't want to know after, and like after is fine, but I'd rather know
Yeah,
before because I'd like to think about this.
after is okay. Before is definitely preferred. During is unacceptable.
Yeah, I feel like if you bring this out during, it's
Because
you were,
during, I would feel lied to,
yeah,
kind of betrayed
I
in
would
a
feel
way.
used.
Yeah. After, I would feel like, okay, well, you clearly you felt uncomfortable about this, and you didn't want it to change, how everyone was feeling about each other or anything. I would be less so inclined to feel used and feel lied to if they said it after. But after, still just okay. It's not preferred. Definitely before is the way to go. Um, that's how I would feel about that situation.
Yeah, and me personally, I don't think I would be with a trans person. I'm fine with being friends, but I don't think it's for me specifically.
Yeah, I have trans friends, and I don't have any issues with them.
Yeah,
Um, you know, uh, I don't care. It's who they are.
it's
Um,
just not our cup of tea.
yeah, it's not something that I'm gonna partake in. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality, and I know where I stand with my sexuality, right? So I'm able to say without a shadow of doubt that's not my cup of tea.
Oh yeah, I know people who aren't comfortable in their own sexuality that get freaked out about
Those are
homosexual
called,
stuff.
yeah, those are called homophobic people.
Yeah, it's like if you can't make gay jokes about others and yourself, something's something's wrong, sir.
Yeah, you gotta know what you like, and you gotta know for certainty. Because if you don't, then you're just gonna start questioning your own beliefs, what you feel, and how you perceive certain things.
Yeah, it's like if you're not okay with gay marriage, then either you're homophobic or you're secretly worried that dicks are yummy.
Yeah, yeah. You're either homophobic or you kind of want to see if the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah. like I was asked once. This was by my grandfather. He's like, it was somewhat recently. I want to say it was like a couple months back, and it was so. You got a girlfriend? He's like, I'm like, nope. It's like, are you looking for one? It's like, not really. It's like, I don't blame you. It's just like, it'll happen or it won't. I don't really care at the moment.
Right.
I like remember one conversation. It was jokingly, and it was like in his next life, he's like, "I'm gonna come back as gay."
Oh God.
I'm like, "Good for you." I
Um,
just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't like that people are pointing out. Oh shit! Didn't want to do that.
Ooh.
I didn't like the fact that people were pointing out or that bringing up, oh, I'm trans, oh, I'm gay. It's like no one really gives a shit.
Not really.
You
And
know,
if
if
they
you're a Twitch streamer who's trans or gay, put it in like your about me info box and leave it there.
leave it there.
Let it end because
You don't have to say every stream, "Hey, I'm trans."
yeah,
I don't announce that I'm straight all the fucking time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't scream, "Yes, I love women." I do. I'm very attracted to women. I don't do say that all the time.
And
I
I don't like those people also that are trans and there's nothing about it in any of their info boxes or anything about it.
right.
I feel a bit lied to on that point. Like there's
Um
one streamer and YouTuber that I watch, and I admit, very attractive. And eventually, after a couple months, someone told me that she was trans. I'm like, no, she's not. But I had to find out the truth because now that question was just in the back of my head. Like, is she though?
right.
And I Google it, and not only did I learn that yes, she is indeed trans, but she did porn and still has a dick. And I don't like, I don't care that she's trans. It's the fact that there's nothing in her descriptions or anything about it saying like, yes, I am indeed trans. Let it end here.
Right. It's kind of like you're putting on a show. It's
Yeah, I
theatrical.
feel a bit lied to at that point.
Um yeah. With her, I have male gay friends, none of which put on a theatrical performance to show that they're gay.
Yeah, I know some people like that.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, okay. So I feel if you're if you want to be a male homosexual, then be that, but you don't have to put a performance on for everybody. Like you don't have to be flamboyant. You don't have to like have sparkles coming out of you in order for me to say, "All right, yeah, you're gay."
Yeah.
That's not needed, I feel.
And there are people who are going to call us homophobic for our way of
For
thinking for some reason or another. And it's like, dude, I go to the shop and play Magic the Gathering with a gay guy.
yeah, you know, I have gay friends. One of my best friends is gay, and yeah, so they don't act that way.
Yeah.
um,
And I admit there are some people who are gay that fall somewhere in the middle of that. To
yeah,
where the guy that looks super gay, and
hmm
then to the guy who's like, you'd have to ask just to be sure.
right, right.
And they're like, fall somewhere in the middle of that. It's like, why can't you
It's
just be that?
it's the over the topness that I'm just like, okay, it makes it seem like you're just putting on a show.
Yeah. It's like, God,
So
just tell it once and accept it.
yeah,
You
live with
know,
it.
I don't need to see a show just to understand the fact that you're a male who's into other guys.
Right? I don't care about that. It's not my preference, so I simply do not care.
I care whether or not you're an asshole.
Yeah, it's just come on, quit the theatrics. It makes it seem like you don't even know what you believe.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And I especially don't like the guys that go through as much as possible to convince everyone that they're straight.
yeah,
Like I think you secretly like dudes and you just haven't come out yet.
yeah. I saw you looking at me in the shower rooms.
Yeah, don't go meat gazing.
um, ridiculousness.
I just like there are straight guys out there who will convince you that they are not gay and will go through all the lengths to prove that they like women.
Right?
It's like, no, I really don't give a shit. I don't know why you're putting on the show.
If someone doesn't believe you are what you say you are, you're not obligated to prove that to them.
But they feel like they are for some reason.
It's what you feel.
Uh,
Or rather what you know, I should say, but uh yeah, you don't have to prove anything to no one.
yeah, it's like it just be you, and who gives a shit at that point? It's like really the only one who should care is yourself, and then after that, fuck everyone.
Yeah,
Don't
maybe you're
literally fuck everyone, but
well,
figuratively.
unless you're pansexual.
Like Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, I don't understand pansexuality. That's kind of weird to me. They
It's
simply
not that
just don't
they
have a
are.
preference.
It's not that they're attracted to one gender or the other. It's more like that they can envelop an emotional connection and fall in love with whatever.
Yeah,
It's more of the emotional sense in Pan than it is with the physical attraction.
yeah.
So that's like a whole different thing. Like people think, oh, you're Pan, you'd fuck anything, wouldn't you? It's like no, it's just that they're emotionally connect. They go for a more emotional connection than a physical connection.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, we want to
Like
do a new
those
topic at all?
like those weird people that are that claim to be asexual.
Yeah, that one I don't get, and I'm
Because
not
then
gonna claim to understand it.
then I'm just saying, no, you're not asexual. You just either don't like sex or you can't have sex.
I don't touch that one.
For one reason or another.
Yeah.
All right, so uh Keemstar, right? There's some drama
Yes.
going on there.
Now, how do you personally feel about Keemstar?
I mean, I'm kind of just indifferent to it.
The many people that I've talked to and I had asked them how they felt about Keemstar. They absolutely loathe him. They think he is the scum of the earth and they absolutely hate him.
I don't understand it. He's just trying to live his life and make a living.
Yeah, here's the thing. Keemstar is an asshole. He knows he's an asshole. Like,
He doesn't pretend to be otherwise.
yeah. And not only that, like they hate him like he should be on other people's drama and all this. Well, they shouldn't fucking put it on the internet.
Yeah,
If they don't want people to talk about their drama, they shouldn't be putting it out there for everyone to read and see about. You know?
exactly. If it's on the internet, anyone has access to that.
Yeah, and like not only that, if Keemstar wasn't doing it, it'd be
Someone else
somebody
would.
else.
Yeah, someone else would. Someone else probably is doing it. We're not focusing on that person
Yeah,
for one reason or
the only
another.
difference is people already hate Keemstar, so I guess he's just like, oh, they already hate me, so who gives a shit?
Right?
You know,
It's gotten bad enough though that he feels the need to take a hiatus,
yeah.
a break.
And it's like, oh, people always focus on the negative. He's partnered up with people to give away stuff. He doesn't get anything for some of these partnerships that he does. He doesn't get paid. He doesn't get any free stuff. He does it for the simple fact that he's getting it out there and giving away stuff to his fans that he feel like deserve it.
Yep.
He's giving away PCs, PS5s, Xbox Series X's, so on and so forth. Just cause
Oh God.
he's
Bring up
donated.
PS5s.
Yeah,
The first thing that I think about is price gougers.
yeah. Like he just doesn't give a shit. It's like he's always been an asshole. I've been a fan of Keemstar since back in the old FAG days.
FAG.
Yeah, the Federation of Asshole Gamers. That was back during the day of Keemstar, D Ranker, $2 and Robot. And they just go and they try to get people angry and upset on games like Halo and Call of Duty.
Yep. I
And
don't understand why we have a lot of snowflakes nowadays because that just tells me they never played Call of Duty as a kid.
They have a video. He has a video up, and I want to send it to you because it's actually about that. What you just
those
said.
those chat rooms fucking gave you a backbone.
Yeah, like you were. Did you ever have in like an Xbox 360?
Yeah,
So you remember like playing Modern Warfare 2 and getting into those lobbies, right?
yeah.
Holy shit. Those lobbies would make people commit suicide
They
nowadays with
would.
how we are.
Those lobbies are where I learned a lot of my insults.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus, like back in the day, like, oh, no
No
one would
filter.
be able to go through this now.
There was no cancel culture back then, right? Like you could report them, but it wouldn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
You could message them directly.
Somehow,
So,
You know,
I
that
just
was
sent you a video. Do you have
I
it?
saw that. Yeah, yeah.
All right, let me know when you're queued up at 0.
Okay. Queued up at 0.
All right, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, play, and once I say play, we just play it.
All right.
All right, so 3, 2, 1, play.
the first time that I was able to get on the internet, I got into a chat room and I started calling every single person in that chat room horrible, horrible names. And they talk shit back to me, and it was the greatest experience of my life. It was so much fun and it was so addicting. When I started online gaming in Halo, the things that were said to me were so awful. It made the game so much fun, and it made me want to be able to be a better trash talker, which somehow sparked my entire online career. As you know, somebody filmed a video of me talking trash in a Halo game, which started my whole career. But today, what we see is we see the gaming companies, you know, Sony, Microsoft, cracking down. If you're toxic online, they might ban your account. We see online platforms like YouTube and Twitter, you know, censoring and banning people that are saying edgy stuff. And I must say, the people from my generation, the YouTubers, the gaming entertainers from my generation, when we are involved in some type of scandal and we're being canceled and horrible things are being said to us, it's not hitting us in the feels, because we grew up in a culture where there was trash talk and all this toxic behavior. But when I see these new people, when I see these new gaming entertainers, or I see these new TikTokers involved in a scandal and the entire internet is saying toxic, horrible things to them, they have mental breakdowns. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to handle it because our culture has become so soft. We seen a TikToker, one of the D'Amelios, you know, horrible stuff was being said to her and she broke down in tears. And it's like, that wouldn't happen to anyone from my generation. So I guess my point is we're doing a disservice to these young kids and to the future generations by banning all this horrible trash talk, all this toxic behavior. Because when it comes, because it will come, you know, for public figures that become popular, they won't know how to handle it. It's going to hit them in the feels, and they're not going to see it for what it is, toxic trash talk. Just my opinion.
Yeah, so that how do you feel about that? That's like pretty accurate, don't you think?
It's pretty much what I was just saying. Yeah. I don't know. You need to experience these things so
Yeah.
you could fucking develop that backbone of yours.
Yeah, part of playing like Call of Duty and Halo back in the day was the trash talking.
Yeah.
That
Don't let that shit affect you.
Yeah, that's what made the game fun back in the day. And it's like now everyone gets upset at the fact that Keemstar's still an asshole. People get upset like when stuff comes out about them and they have mental breakdowns because of it. And it's like, really? You're affected by this? I've heard worse. God, someone like got upset, it's like, we should cancel you and all that shit and blah 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 and insult. It's like I've heard worse from a kid from like a 10-year-old kid on
Cancel.
Halo.
Yeah, cancel culture is just stupid.
It's like, Jesus. Grow a
They're weird.
spine.
They're words. Move the fuck on. And not even that. They're not even words, right? It's virtual shit.
Yeah, and it's like I can think of several insults right now off the top of my head that wouldn't affect you, they wouldn't affect me, but if we said it to some random kid on the internet now or someone else, like another streamer, they'd probably get upset at us.
Some Karen would jump right on that and immediately try to ban us, and we would get banned for life and have to create a new account.
Yeah. It's
A
like,
new email address, actually, because they would ban your email from being able to use their services.
yeah, and now Keemstar is once again in the crosshairs because he has targeted Pokimane.
Pokimane.
Yeah, so I guess you know about Pokimane and who she is and whatnot.
A little bit, yeah. Not someone I watch regularly. I know of them.
She's my age. And when Pokimane was brought up by Keemstar, he apparently started a simp war, and all the White Knights and shit, like, all after him because of it.
Oh my god. The term simp is just so dumb.
Yeah, to be honest, I still don't really know what it means. I refuse to look it up.
A simp is someone that does nice things for someone else with the hopes of getting something physical out of it.
Remember when we called those types of guys White Knights?
Yeah. My White Knight in shining armor.
Yeah, the White Knights who come in and defend the female.
Yeah, and you're just like, all right, dude. I'm not gonna get anything from it.
Yeah,
Mario
like...
did it for like how many years, and he barely got a kiss. So, you know, fucking Link doesn't have anything to show for it either. So,
and Link's gone through multiple lives of this shit.
I know.
He keeps reincarnating for this chick.
He fucking went through time for this one.
Yeah. And it's like, who gives a shit about Pokimane? I get it. She's your favorite entertainer. I get it. You like watching her videos. You think she's funny. You probably think she's cute, and in the back of your head, you're really saying you want to fuck her.
Right. That's what a simp is someone that wants those sexual natures to happen, but they're just gonna be nice. They think being the nice guy will get them there.
Yeah, and so when someone like Keemstar comes out saying and has like what he believes is some evidence on one side, like he's found some stuff, he explains the things that he's learned, and he's saying it's his point of view and this is what he thinks about it. At no point does Keemstar ever like firmly believe that what he said is the truth. No, he knows it's not the truth. He knows that it's an opinion. It's what he's found. He's discussing what he's found so far, and then he's giving you his opinion on what he thinks about this. Like, oh, this is my view on this. This is what I think is happening. And he's like found Pokimane, and he's like, so I found some stuff that points out Pokimane to be a liar and says that she was indeed in a relationship or sleeping with this other, I don't know exactly who these people are. They're streamers or some weird shit, and I don't really care too much. It's not that I care about what he's talking about so much as I like watching drama, and I want to see what everyone else says and reacts to it, and the amount of people that are shitting on him for pointing this stuff out is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's the fact that this is stuff that is actually happening, too. Like, he's not just making this shit up on his own accord.
No, it's literally happening in front of everyone, and they think he's to blame.
Yeah, they're like, oh my...
You know, it's like, if you don't want people talking about it, don't put it on the internet where everyone can see it. And it's like,
Which is...
you got famous on Twitch and YouTube. If you don't want to be in the drama spotlight, don't fucking get famous then.
Don't put yourself there.
Yeah.
And you can't say it's necessarily their fault that they got famous.
No, and I understand, but once you started to, you should have known. Like,
Yeah.
if you do something,
It's gonna
it's gonna be
recognized.
known.
Yeah.
At that point, everything you do, it will be in some spotlight or another.
Yep.
And it's like, I just don't understand people's hatred for Keemstar. It's like, if he wasn't doing it, someone else would be doing it.
It's always a bigger fish, man.
Yeah. And now that we've talked about this, we can also move on to the next topic, since it's basically in the same vein, and it's entertainment.
Yeah. A lot of things that entertain us in life, you know, movies, games, which we were just talking about, YouTube. But Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, I wanted to
It's a good
talk
show.
about
I really
the
like Game of Thrones.
downfall of Game of Thrones.
So, what do you believe to be the downfall of Game of Thrones?
The writers.
The writers?
Yeah.
Why?
Alright, well, first up, have you seen all of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, and
The TV show, yeah.
I believe it was season 6 that had the Battle of the Bastards, if I remember correctly.
I don't know the seasons and episode names that well.
It was the one where Jon Snow and Ramsay Bolton fought.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's like after that, everything went really far down fucking hill.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it has become known that the writers, B.B. Weiss and Dan something, I think, stopped giving a shit. They got tired. And so because of that, their writing got shittier. And there were a lot of plot holes in the next 2 seasons. There were a lot of stuff that didn't make sense in these seasons, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And it just got worse and worse. Like, season 8 was one of the shittiest fucking seasons I ever watched.
Well, that last episode was complete bullshit.
Yeah!
The second to last episode was stupid as well.
Yeah, it's like we literally just went through like 6 seasons contradicting everything that happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they come out, and it's well known that they stopped giving a shit.
They just wanted it to end.
Yeah.
Wanted it to be over.
And it's like, why the fuck did you start this show, this series, if you weren't gonna see it through to the end?
Right.
Like, and it's not HBO's fault. It came out that apparently HBO offered them, like, hey, you can keep going for like 10 more seasons. We'll give you the money to do it. It's like,
We'll fund you.
Nope, season 8's gonna be it. It's like, what? You sure? It's like, yeah, we're tired of the show. We don't want to do it anymore. And I think at that point, if they started to get fucking tired of the writing and everything, they should have quit. They should have gave it to someone else.
Yep.
I mean, like, Jesus. All of season 8 was a giant clusterfuck.
Honestly, it really was.
And it just got worse and worse and worse. And it was sad because I loved season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones was a really good series starting out, but yeah, definitely changed into a whole nother being.
Yeah, and like it became one of the biggest and most popular shows, and then the writers just got tired.
Yep.
So I don't understand. I don't think Game of Thrones had to have the downfall that it did. I think it could have been a lot better if they just, continued doing it.
It could have been. But, yeah, it failed.
And then we have Star Wars.
Which we got that new episode of Mandalorian.
Yeah, so this is going to be a spoiler-heavy section.
Yes. So
And
if you haven't seen Mandalorian, probably don't want to be here.
yeah, you could actually probably stop watching at this point. Because I'm going to put it on YouTube and I'm going to timestamp when we start talking about The Mandalorian and when we stop.
Good.
So, I thought this episode was going to be a filler episode again.
So did I, because I didn't know what to expect. I thought they weren't going to get to the planet right away. I thought some conflict was going to happen before that.
Yeah,
But
because as we
we're
know,
right outside of the frickin' Titan, right?
yeah,
Yeah, we're right outside of Titan, and I'm like, okay, I was expecting this to take a little longer.
like we immediately show up on Titan. Like, Jesus Christ, really? Already?
I'm like, oh, okay.
And it's like this. First off, this episode was directed by Robert Rodriguez, it's awesome.
Took you guys forever to get to Ahsoka's planet, but let's just immediately get to Titan.
Which I am fine with.
Yeah.
And then, like, we're immediately on Titan. We get to the stone, and sure enough, the kid Grogu, as he is named, sits on the little stone thing, and a giant force energy field comes up, and he's apparently calling out through the force. But not only that, the greatest scene that I think has ever been filmed in Star Wars happened.
Yep.
The slave won.
Did you lose your shit like I did?
Yes, I did. I was freaking out. I was very excited. I saw the slave too, just flying through the air and coming to land. I'm like, oh, it's fucking Boba Fett! Oh,
Yeah, I lost my shit. I was not ready.
I started losing my shit even more when he showed up and he's like, I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the galaxy, like my father before me. I'm like, yes! Shit, yes!
Almost word for word of what his dad said, right?
Like, yes, that was a straight episode 2 Attack the Clones. That was the most amazing thing ever. And then Stormtroopers land. And Boba Fett beats the shit out of a bunch of Stormtroopers with the gaffy stick.
Which was some of the most badass shit, because you just saw some of their plaster armor flying off and shit.
Yeah.
Which was pretty nice.
He straight up, it wasn't a fair fight. He absolutely brutalized and murdered those Stormtroopers.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, just completely destroyed who they were.
He wasn't using guns, he wasn't using his rifle, he wasn't even wearing armor, he was wearing a cloak.
Yeah.
And he just beat the shit out of people with a stick. And then more Stormtroopers show up, and Boba Fett fucks off. And then we see Din and a character from last season. I forget her name. I think it's Finnick.
It is, yeah, Finnick.
Yeah, and they're like surrounded and they're getting pushed back by Stormtroopers. And then all of a sudden Boba Fett shows up and shoots the fuck out of everyone in that area with his guns, and he uses his Mandalorian bracers to shoot other people. Then apparently he's got like 2 rockets or some shit on his knees.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know about that, and I'm like, oh, that was fucking awesome. To see Boba Fett in action like that. Oh, it was amazing.
It was very nice, very well done. Definitely felt like it was something that was needed, and not expected either, because I wasn't expecting Boba Fett to come back until like this, like way late into the season.
Yeah.
Which technically he did. There's 2 more episodes, but.
And then Boba Fett did something that was the most amazing thing ever. He shoots the rocket from his jetpack, and it blows up one ship, and that ship crashes into the second ship and takes them both out.
Yeah.
And then Din, the Mando, his name is Din Djarin, and he says, "Nice shot." And Boba Fett just says, "I was aiming for the other one."
Yeah, which wasn't true, but
It was true. It showed, like, in his visor that he was aiming at the other one. It was like, God, then that is some phenomenal luck right there. And then we get into the big thing that I want to talk about for that episode for me.
What's that? What was the biggest moment to you?
It was, first off, it was the Dark Troopers in action. Even if only for a moment, that was a big thing.
I was going to say kind of.
Yeah, they were deployed, but there wasn't really any action. But first, it's the Dark Troopers. They were officially called that, and they made an actual appearance in the show. I thought that was pretty cool, but the biggest thing for me was, in the Clone Wars series, the Satine and, what's-his-face denounced Jango Fett as a Mandalorian and has no idea where he got his armor.
Mm-hmm.
But in this episode, Boba Fett shows what he calls the chain code that's embedded into his armor since he's had it. It's like for 25 years. And
Which he
says,
doesn't know how to read.
We don't know how to read.
Boba didn't know how to read it.
Yeah, he did. He says, "See that right there? That's me." And then, then he points at another section of it, and it's like, that right there is my father, Jango.
And apparently, a lot of people have had that armor, so it's been in his lineage for at least a little while.
Yeah, and then it says something awesome. Din Djarin says, "Your father was a foundling." Like, yes! Jango's a Mandalorian again! I was very happy and excited about that one fact finally being rectified.
Oop.
You still there?
Yeah, sorry. I am very excited to see where this goes, because they went to what planet is that? Essentially they went back to their friends, right?
Navarro.
Navarro, there we go. Went back to Navarro. We find out that she indeed joined the New Republic.
No, she was made a Marshal of the Outer Rim on the planet of Navarro.
Right, for the New Republic, though.
Yeah.
Which is exciting news. And I was very excited to see that Bill Burr is going to come back, because I think he's a hilarious comedian.
I thought that was a little fucking funny. I wasn't expecting to see Bill Burr again.
Neither was I. I thought that was like a one-time thing. I follow his podcast. He didn't say anything about the Star Wars stuff.
Do you think he knows?
Knows what?
Do you think he knows that he's been introduced again into the Mandalorian?
Oh yeah, he had to have. It's his face, man.
Still though, I'm still like reeling over the fact that Boba Fett and Jango are officially Mandalorians again.
Right.
I'm so glad they fucking fixed that.
I'm ready to see them fight again. To see what they're gonna do, if they're gonna battle. Gideon said that Gideon doesn't care about Grogu's well-being.
No, he wants Grogu alive.
In the right before the episode ends, he says to take all of his blood, though.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I might have to watch it again because I didn't hear that.
He does not care. The doctor cares, but he doesn't. Which was interesting to me because, you kind of want that thing to stay alive.
I do like the fact that when Moff Gideon walked in there and you just see two stormtroopers getting thrown around like fucking dolls.
Yeah.
And like the other stormtroopers try to go in and stop him. Moff Gideon's like smiling. He's like, "No, wait. Watch
Let him
this."
pucker out.
Yeah.
Let him pucker out. He ain't gonna do much.
He's throwing around stormtroopers and choking the shit out of them with the Force, and then he gets tired and passes out. Ugh.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened was that Din Djarin got he made sure to pick up the spear.
Yes.
And even Boba knows that it's made from Beskar.
Yep.
And we've also got a taste of that the spear can handle a lightsaber.
It can indeed.
And I'm starting to get the feeling that maybe this season is going to end with Din Djarin and Moff Gideon fighting it out like that.
I finally got my dark saber thing that I've been wanting to see.
Yeah, I told you it was like probably behind his back on covered up by the cape.
About the damn time.
Yeah, and then like another thing you wanted to know was who did Grogu call out to?
Yes.
Now we know for a fact that he specifically just called out through the Force. He wasn't contacting anyone specific.
Right.
So, and here's who all we know for a fact could hear it. We know that Luke could hear it.
Yep.
We know that Leia could possibly also hear it. I think Luke has been training her. We know that Ahsoka
had to have. Yeah. By this point, he had to have.
Yeah, we know Ahsoka could hear it. We know that Ezra could hear it.
Yep.
However, there's one other person that has now been confirmed to still be alive, apparently.
Who might that be?
Mace fucking Windu.
Absolutely crazy if Mace Windu comes back, right?
Apparently he might, because it has been confirmed that Mace Windu is still alive, and even Samuel Jackson himself wants to come back and reprise his role.
Which I definitely am excited for and want that to be a thing, because I liked Mace Windu's character.
What if the final scene of this season is Mace Windu just walking around, and then we see him take his hood down, and we see his face?
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool, but kind of like a little, well, very much unexpected, right? Because it's not something that has ever been hinted at beforehand or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting for sure.
And I think that we are going to get something really fucking awesome happening.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call it now. Just so we don't have any more conversations about this until it happens. I'm calling it here and now what's going to end up happening.
What?
I think Boba Fett, Din Djarin, the Mandalorians loyal to Bo-Katan, and Din Djarin's friends are going to end up having a huge battle with Moff Gideon's forces.
Yeah, they have to meet up. All of them have to meet up at the end, for sure.
I think they're all going to meet up, and they're going to duke it out, and it's going to be Din Djarin who ends up fighting against Moff Gideon. I don't think they're going to win right off the bat. I think something's going to happen.
Right.
But I'm calling it now that they're all going to meet up, and it's going to be so fucking awesome to potentially see the Armorer, the other Mandalorians loyal to Bo, and Jango and Boba Fett of all fucking people just show up.
Yeah. I am very much excited and very much looking forward to the things to come.
Yeah, so so it's now official. I've called this. So if it happens, I was right.
We'll have to see. I don't know. I from this point on, I don't know what's really gonna happen, man. There has to be a battle, right? They have to go get the kid. That's what Boba Fett was saying, right? Is that they made a deal.
Yeah, which I wasn't expecting that to happen.
He's gonna follow that deal.
Pray that I don't alter the deal further.
Right. Want some Darth Vader action? Probably won't get that, but that'd be cool. Darth Vader's dead. Never mind.
Yeah, you wanted to know some stuff as well. What exactly is it?
I wanted to. So Din Djarin. One thing that I've wanted to know about is like, what clan is he part of?
Oh, he has
Him,
an actual clan. Hang on,
him and Boba Fett are opposing clans, from what I understood, but I'm
no,
not entirely
they're not
positive
exactly
on that.
opposing clans. Din Djarin is part of Clan Mudhorn.
Mudhorn. Okay.
Yeah, that's his. When he got his signet, the armor says he is now a clan of 2.
Right.
And that his affiliation is with the Children of the Watch.
Of the Watch. There we go.
And we know that there are the Tribe and Clan Mudhorn. So, yeah, he has his own thing now. Boba Fett, though, I'm not too sure.
I don't know what Boba Fett's would be.
He doesn't seem to have a clan, but he is a Mandalorian. Doody. I'm looking at some stuff.
Ooh, Jesus.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
So plans for the future.
Yes.
I want to do more streams.
Yep.
I will say that the main podcast will be always on Saturday. It'll be us just technically sitting around shooting the shit and talking about certain topics.
Right.
However, I've thought about doing another podcast specifically to talk about the nerdy stuff, more specifically like Star Wars and things like that. That way we can talk freely without having it be a part of the main podcast.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good about that. That makes sense to me.
That yeah. Well, I know that you're mostly busy and you have free time on Saturdays, but what would be another day that we could potentially do that?
Well, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays are my days off.
How would you feel about Thursdays?
That could work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that was one of the things that I wanted to plan about because it would get us more stream time instead of just doing it once every Saturday.
Right.
Another thing I would want to do is more gaming streams. I've thought of doing that.
Yeah.
It's just, I just wanted to talk and do some more stuff, like spread out a bit more, get more recognized.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
I agree with that.
Yeah. Other than
That's
that,
fair.
I didn't really have much to talk about in that section. Then planning on what we could potentially do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, after that, we have some fun stuff to talk about now. And we are also coming up at the end of the podcast.
Yep,
So,
almost at the end of the episode here.
So we were going to do some Am I the Asshole?
Yes.
Hang on. I seem to have lost. Do you have the Am I the Asshole up for handmade gifts?
Yes, I do.
All right. You may want to read that one out because I seem to have lost it.
Okay. So the title for this one is Am I the Asshole for Telling My Fiancé That I Don't Want Any More of His Handmade Christmas Gifts? My fiancé and I have been together for over 2 years, and we celebrated both Christmases together.
Okay.
The first year, I bought him I bought him maybe $50 worth of presents, mostly stuff he hinted at wanting to buy. He gave me a fancy origami star with Merry Christmas written on it in Sharpie. We hadn't dated very long, so I didn't think twice about the whole thing. And honestly, the star was pretty cute. We we hadn't actually discussed presents at all before that point, so it's not like I was expecting anything more. So first Christmas together, it's
Yeah.
kind of just throwing things together, trying to get the Christmas spirit going, I guess. Last Christmas was a bit different. We did have, quote unquote, the talk about presents. He directed me to his Amazon wish list and told me to get him something off of there. The problem was that everything on his wish list was hugely expensive, with the cheapest item being a few $100s at least.
Jesus.
I ended up getting him a Nintendo Switch, and he was really happy with that. In return, he presented me with what was basically a piece of laminated paper cut into the shape of a Christmas tree. That's kind of fucked up. Well, I tried to be tactful. A few weeks later, I did bring up that I felt a bit disappointed with this gift. My fiance seemed floored and reminded me how I, quote unquote, loved handmade gifts. So her fiance believes that she actually really enjoys handmade stuff, which seems to not be true. Well, she says that's true. I have talked before about how I love getting a scarf from one of my friends every year, but that's a difference between a scarf and a piece of paper. I told him this, and he promised he'd think about it. Now we're in the year 2020, and my fiance has been talking for months is all capital, about how much he'd love a PlayStation 5 console for Christmas. That's fair. I want one too.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not gonna get it, but I want one.
No shit. I told him I'd try my best to find one, even though they're really hard to find at the moment. The next day, I gave him a list of some things I'd like for Christmas, all around $100. My fiance thanked me, but turned down the list, telling me he was going to hand make my present himself again. When I told him I'd much rather have something off of my list, he told me he'd already started making my present, so it would have to wait until next year. Things have been really weird between us since then. I brought this up with his mother recently, and while she agreed that while I had the right to be upset, I should appreciate my fiance's handmade gifts because they're, quote, made from the heart. From my perspective, it feels a lot more like he just doesn't care. Although I've managed to order him a PlayStation 5. Oh, although I haven't managed to order him a PlayStation 5 yet, this whole situation is making me not even want to try. Am I the asshole for telling him to stop with the handmade gifts? No.
All right, first
No,
off,
you were not.
handmade gifts are fine occasionally because they are made from the heart, as it said. But at the same time, this dude sounds like a fucking cheapskate.
Right.
Like, dude, I can understand like giving someone a handmade gift, but if she bought you a Nintendo Switch, and you're talking about wanting a PlayStation 5, and you don't even think about giving something to her that's equal in value,
Yeah.
you're a piece of shit.
What I told my girlfriend, like, her and I do the list thing, right? We come up with like a list of things that would be nice as gifts or whatever. Mainly because her and I are both terrible at gift giving. I the rule is that you could get one item from that list, and it could be any item. And you know, that's kind of the way it is. I expect, or at least hope, that I would spend the same amount of money that she would, right?
Yeah.
And for things that she genuinely wants or would like to have. That being said, PlayStation 5 is on my list.
Good fucking luck with that.
Yeah, if she's willing to pay the price gougers, the $800 that they want for the console, you know, I better be ready to drop $800 on her.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly fair. So
this all being said, I still have a couple of handmade gifts that I've made for her.
Yeah, it's like, that's perfectly fine. The way that, but from this story, it's like, no, you're not the asshole. Your fiance is.
Yeah, it's entirely fair to not really want those gifts, especially if you're giving something of more value, arguably. Yeah. Handmade gifts are cheap as hell.
Why can't he do both?
Yeah, like I do, you know? You can make a handmade gift for like a couple of bucks, and it will mean a lot to that other individual for sure. But if that's the only thing you're getting them, come on.
Yeah, you just sound like a bit of a cheapskate in that case.
Especially if it's just one present. Like, she said that she spent, what was it, the first year she spent like $50 worth of presents, and he freaking...
hundreds.
The first year I bought him $50 worth of presents.
Mostly
stuff. Yeah. So the first year she spent $50. Second year she spent the hundreds that you were talking about.
And like in 1 year, like a Nintendo Switch. Like, Jesus, come on, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, and he gave her a origami fucking piece of paper that was a Christmas tree or whatever. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great gift, sure, but you gotta follow it up with something. Yeah. I feel. You know, like rub her back or something. I don't know.
Give her a coupon thing.
Yeah, go get her. Figure out. You should know where she likes to, like, if she likes to get coffee, get her a gift card for that coffee place.
No, like give her coupons. Like, oh, this coupon's breakfast in bed. Oh, this is a coupon.
Oh
for
yeah,
your
yeah.
favorite,
I see what you're talking
favorite
about.
restaurant, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. This coupon, I'll clean the house or something like that. I don't know.
That seems a lot better than the laminated cutout Christmas tree.
A piece of paper that you could write with Sharpie if you wanted to. You know, tie them together and tell her you could use these at any time.
Yeah, that seems far, far better.
Doesn't cost anything. Maybe your time later.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they have some paper just hiding about that he could just cut up and do.
Seriously, dude, I would feel kind of bad if someone spent $100 on me and then I didn't do the same for them, right?
Yeah, or I didn't think about doing the same thing.
Yeah, I always feel bad when someone gets me a gift and I get them something.
It's like, really, I'm just fine with like some money.
Yeah, usually that's what I'm like. All right, here's $20. Thank you. I hope that helps. I don't know. I do gift cards a lot because I don't know what people like, and so I'd rather give them that, and then they can get whatever they want with it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think she's the asshole for not wanting handmade gifts at all.
Yeah, she is perfectly fine in this. I think it's her husband or fiance or whatever he is now that is the asshole.
Also, 2 years in the fiance status.
They say that they've been engaged for 2 years.
Yeah.
How about for this year's Christmas present, you give her a fucking wedding?
Right? No shit. Put a ring on that.
He did. He's just not getting through with it.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like, give her a wedding, at least. Jesus.
They've been, well, I can't say that they got engaged in their first year. They've been together for over 2 years, but she starts it with saying my fiance.
Yeah, and that implies that they are engaged to get married.
Right, and from what she's saying, it sounds like they've been engaged for at least a year and a half now, maybe a little less than that.
Yeah, set it up so you have like a nice little, wedding, like with the friends and family that are already coming over for
Yeah.
Christmas.
And you don't even have to spend money on that,
Yeah.
you know?
Everyone's
They're gonna be there
already showing
anyway.
up.
Yeah.
So so we are in agreement that she is not the asshole, and it is the fiance that is.
Right, yeah, it's the fiance, 100%.
All right. So we have one more. Am I the asshole? And I'll read this one out since I do have it up.
Go for it.
Am I the asshole for giving my family the silent treatment over their slut bet? All right.
I'm curious as to what's going on here, because like their parents have a bet about this individual being a slut. That's
not
how
just the
I
parents.
read that.
She says her family.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Go on.
All right. I'm a freshman in college, and before college, I was homeschooled basically my whole life. Because of that, I have pretty bad social anxiety. Regardless of that, I was really excited to go to college and finally have freedom, apart from COVID safety measures. My parents really didn't want me to go and threw a huge fit about it since they think I only want to go to sleep around and drink. Every time I spoke to them while I was away, they would try to get me to come back home, so I stopped answering their calls as often, which really pissed my mom off. I went from talking to my parents multiple times a day to around once a week, though I would still speak with my siblings. They were literally obsessed with the idea of me leaving their home and becoming a whore, which was odd since they'd never been like that before. They have this idea that I'm a good girl gone wild. They used to let me have co-ed sleepovers and hang out with guys whenever I wanted. Anyways, I was talking to my sister, who was 15, and she told me about this bet that my family had made. I guess in retaliation for me not answering their calls, they were betting if I'd become a slut in college. They were speculating on when I'd lose my virginity, how many guys I'd sleep with, and if I'd sleep with a girl, etc. She sent me a few screenshots, and it seemed almost like a big passive-aggressive joke. It wasn't just my parents in it. It had my siblings, cousins, and aunts. While they were seemingly kidding, I felt extremely embarrassed. I didn't know how to bring it up because I didn't want my sister to get in trouble for showing me, so it went on for a while. I finally texted my mom about it and asked her if she would please delete the chat or at least add me to it so it wasn't just my family talking and clowning me behind my back. I didn't mention that it was my sister who had shown me it. My mother insisted that they weren't talking about me and that I was being a prima donna, even though I literally have evidence. Since it was obvious that they weren't going to delete it, I told my mom that I wasn't going to come home for Christmas and I wasn't going to come visit her after her surgery. She's having surgery soon and asked me to come, partially out of anger and because of embarrassment. Christmas is my mom's favorite holiday, and she always goes all out for it. She wanted me to be her caretaker after the surgery since after Christmas her money will be tight and she didn't want to pay for one. She says that I'm abandoning her, and I think that she stabbed me in the back. Am I the asshole? I don't think so. At least not as much as she thinks she is.
I don't think she is either. And did the family honestly expect her to give straight answers about these questions?
I don't know.
So, how many people have you slept with? If my mom asked me that, I'd be like, Jesus, no,
I don't think we should be having this conversation.
I gotta talk to you about that.
I don't... It's the fact that she's denying it that makes me think that they aren't joking around.
Oh, God.
And I don't think it's cool that they have this bet with the family, thinking that she's a slut.
How old is she? If she's going to college, she's got to be 18 or older.
18 at the minimum.
So, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, it's
Sure.
like, and
She wants to be a slut. That's on her.
yeah, and I don't think it's their business, but I don't think it's cool that they're doing a bet with the entire family about it.
Right? And like an in-depth bet too. It's not even like did she sleep with someone or lose her virginity. It's like how many people did she also dip her toes, with women?
Yeah, did she
Did
also
she
go with a
experiment?
woman? Yeah. It's
You
like,
know, I'm
I
like,
wouldn't want to go to Christmas either. Fuck that.
Jesus, what kind of weird fucking parents do you have? I hope my parents don't talk about that in regards to me.
Yeah, it's like, would you want to go to Christmas knowing that there's a bet with the family on whether you're a slut or not?
No.
Yeah, and I don't think, and I'm not sure how to feel about the surgery thing.
Yeah.
I mean, as the mom, I probably feel a little betrayed on that, but at the same time, you're talking about her behind her back and calling her a slut.
It's a little bit of an asshole thing to do. Did she say what the surgery was for?
No, it just said surgery.
Depending on what the surgery is, it could be a pretty big asshole thing. Like if it's a surgery that she might not come back from, if it doesn't sound that way, but if it was that, then yeah, you are the asshole for not being there, I guess. But if it's a routine fucking surgery, like she's getting carpal tunnel surgery, then yeah, your mom's gonna be fine. Who gives a fuck about that surgery?
Well, at the same time, the mom is also denying the fact that this bet's a thing, even though she has evidence.
Right? Like I have solid proof that this legitimately has been going on.
Yeah, and it's like I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to have anything to do with y'all.
Yeah.
It's like someone in the comments said, "Not the asshole, but tell them you're pregnant from an orgy, and all the potential dads want to visit."
Invite your multiple partners.
Yeah, or I'm sorry I can't come home due to all the orgies I have planned since my family thinks I'm such a slut.
Right. Or just create an OnlyFans. Post Christian wholesome family fun on there.
Yeah, maybe I should create an OnlyFans. But so we're in consensus about this, though. We
yeah.
agree.
I'm trying to find one where I think the person is an asshole.
Yeah, but I think this is a somewhat decent place to end the show.
Yeah, for sure.
It's almost been 2 hours. We've been talking about for 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 30 seconds. So, this has been it for the show, everyone. Thanks if you stopped by. The show will be on YouTube. I immediately uploaded to YouTube right after, so there is that.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll be back next Saturday unless something comes up, and hopefully at some point we'll be doing a Thursday stream as well.
Yes, playing some video games.
Maybe. We'll find out.
We'll see. We'll find out.
But until next time, everyone, this has been the Out of Spite Podcast, episode 5.
Hell yeah.